This Obamacare thing is just getting crazier by the minute, where they are canceling charity ads for good messages on MSNBC, on channels like ESPN, but then running Obamacare ads telling people to go sign up at the site when Consumer Reports and others are saying do not go sign up there. And it's all the hoax that it exists. It's designed to be a fraud. And there have been huge new developments on this front we're going to cover after the break. Also, the health director who approved Obama's birth certificate has died in a plane crash. You heard me right on that. The health director who approved Obama's birth certificate dies in a plane crash. And that's the lady that approved it and released it. And, of course, you know it was obviously a fake on purpose, just like the website's meant to be a complete fake and not work and be a total fraud. And then you have all these people that think they signed up, months later found out they didn't. People that mailed in the paper enrollments learn they haven't signed up. They selectively will take a few people on the news and take them and show them enrolled. It's like, well, somebody won the lottery. Somebody, I promise, saw a leprechaun one time, you know, in Ireland. They walked over a hill. There was a rainbow. There was a Lucky Charms guy with a bucket of gold there dancing around happily in the mist. Maybe unicorns exist. Maybe Lucky Charms is real. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe chupacabras are real. Maybe Obamacare is a good deal. Of course, now the architects of it admit it was just meant to bankrupt the system and bring in a single payer. And good old helpful Colin Powell, same guy that told us about anthrax trucks, of course was lying on purpose. He says it's a great idea and gave an anecdotal story. So you can see Boner and Powell and Rove and the Republican leadership, the old blue blood globalist, they're ramming through the total takeover system and making sure that the real Tea Party is unable to try to save the country. And anyone that exposes that the United States is turning into a communist dictatorship run by offshore interests that are extracting our wealth, corporate outside interest, financed the Bolshevik takeover, and for 70-plus years extracted the wealth, working with the high-level Communist Party heads. That's all on record now in congressional testimony, best-selling books. It's all come out. Putin talks about it. I mean, it is an open secret. And now they're moving that model here, where they shut everything down. Only multinational combines are allowed to operate. And it is an emergency situation on every single front. So we're going to be breaking all that down. Also, DPS officer resigns after found to be an illegal immigrant. That's in Arizona. I actually saw ads in Arizona and New Mexico we covered a few years ago where they actually want to hire illegals as sheriff's deputies and have been doing so. You know, illegals get higher state tuition in most states than even U.S. citizens do if you're not from that state. I mean, I would get more benefits if I was an illegal alien. And again, I'm not even demonizing these poor illegal aliens. They're just being brought in and given preferential treatment so they'll work for lower wages to supplement their wages to then destroy the middle class. Just like Obamacare makes everybody go to part-time, basically. It's all the same deal.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done has been right.
Now, here is just some of the news that is up on Infowars.com right now. Anti-Christian group forces Air Force to remove nativity scene. And that happened, of course, yesterday. But Kurt Nemo's got an article breaking it down with a deeper analysis on the persecution of Christians. But everything else is allowed. Also, Obama nominates Israeli bankster as Federal Reserve vice chair. And, you know, I think that's an issue. We got two articles by Nemo right there because, you know, we should obviously have people that are Americans first and foremost, even if the Federal Reserve is a private entity running government policy. Also, Homeland Security employee who called for mass murder of whites finally has been fired. And also, America Dream, rest in peace. 2/3 of all Americans think the American dream has died. And a lot of them think capitalism did it when it's the opposite. It's been rigged markets, the opposite of free market, that have done this. Damage control. We're going to get into the article with well, we're going to break that down when we actually get into that at that time. Also, we're going to get into Obama shipping in China produced poultry. Why not? They already get our fluoride. Most of the fluoride they put in our water comes from China with hundreds of other chemicals and toxins and heavy metals added to it. Why not? The sky's the limit. And also another story, a handful of constitutionally minded people within the Pentagon stopped the Syrian war. And that is a very important article because it breaks down the fact that that's been confirmed, but not many people are aware of it. There's actually good people in the Pentagon that put the brakes on that, thanks to public support as well. That's just some of the news up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Let's go over some of the Obamacare news. Let's just go over these headlines. Obamacare, one of the greatest achievements in the nation's history. That's Representative Jan, how do you pronounce that, Schakowsky? And CNS News reports, never mind that naysayers. This representative from Illinois introduced positive reviews of Obamacare into the congressional record at Wednesday's congressional hearing. Then she addressed Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius personally. She said, I just want to say to you, Madam Secretary, I am absolutely confident that the role that you played in bringing affordable health care to millions, tens of millions of Americans, will go down in history as one of the greatest achievements of our country throughout the entire history. And I want to thank you for that. And I actually agree that this is one of the greatest achievements of absolute, open, manifest fraud. I absolutely agree with that. Because it is such a huge fraud. And it makes P.T. Barnum look like an honest person. It makes Pinocchio's nose look short. It's just unspeakable levels of fraud stacked on top of fraud. That's just one of the articles. Here, let's move on to the next one over here. Issa, the congressman, charges Sebelius with criminal obstruction in Obamacare investigation. That is like charging the sun with coming up in the morning. Manifest lying, manifest fraud, designed to bankrupt the economy. This is a globalist, communist-run operation to blow out our engine, our financial engine, and collapse the country. And when you look at Sebelius, you realize she knows exactly what she's doing. They are carrying out the destruction of this country to build their authoritarian utopia on its ashes. And they're doing a great job. Again, White House works to attract younger health plan users. That means young, dumb morons that they can feed into a meat grinder, just like they do for the military. Sebelius says social media celebrities will help get the message out. They'll make it trendy to be ripped off. And they've actually been hiring Hollywood stars, music stars, to tell people to basically stick their hand in a garbage disposal. And if you put it out on MTV or in the culture, even intelligent people, I found, just get mesmerized by it and by the glitz and by fame and just think it must be good because the Hollywood people are saying that. I'm going to get to that here in a moment. In fact, here it is. Sexiest man alive brought in to boost Obamacare enrollment. That's right. Drudge Report has a photo of the individual who they say is the sexiest man alive. I can't really comment. He looks pretty stupid to me, sticking his tongue out. And it's kind of like a twerp, but what do I know? And this guy's name is Adam Levine or Levine. I have no idea. I don't even know who Adam Levine is. I'll show you. The singer of Maroon 5. I do know about how the world actually works. Of course, what people are supposed to do is obsess all day over the celebrities and how to look trendy. And then, to a certain extent, women then think if they find a trendy man that will make them successful, But the whole trendiness is actually there to show a few examples that are successful by being trendy, but then everyone else just basically buys into that so that you're unsuccessful. And it's all a paradigm to keep you out of the real world, out of discovering the real world, and to keep you in the matrix. So there you go. The Obama administration is bringing in the sexiest man alive to help boost Obamacare enrollment numbers. Well, you know, they say the greatest advertisement ever was Bill Hicks. Is just a sexy woman, you know, showing you a can of beer or a can of Coke. That's the, I mean, look at the beer commercials. It'll show a bunch of beautiful women on the beach running around, just having the best time of their lives, and they're drinking a cold beer. And the guy's got a cold beer. Doesn't matter. He's got a body by Budweiser, a giant porcine pot belly bigger than a hippopotamus's. It doesn't matter because he's got the beer. Of course, the women actually aren't really attracted to him, and he's all alone drinking the beer. That doesn't matter. He still just thinks if he drinks more beer that the 15 Swedish bikini team models will rappel down on ropes from helicopters. And if you buy into the whole rap culture, the whole deal, you're going to be successful. Why? All of you are going to be in the NFL. All of you are going to be in the NBA. All of you are going to be, you know, the top golfers. All of you are going to be stars, ladies and gentlemen, when you already can look up at the stars at night and you are a star made by the creator of the universe with all this incredible adventure going on around you. People look down at the dirt and obsess over celebrity. And I know a lot of celebrities. Some of them are really interesting, really smart, really neat people. It's fun to know them. You can admire the music they play. You can, but when you get into the whole culture being that and not the bedrock of liberty, then your society degenerates, and that's a historical cycle. But it's okay. Obama has the sexiest man alive, they say, to help push it. And the goal that he's going to have pushing it is 100 million internet contacts. And that's put out by the White House. Yeah, they want your data when you go over and over again trying to get your free health care. They want your data. They want to track and know who doesn't have health care so they can grab your paycheck, garnish your wages, grab your tax refund, and grab your bank account. And that's now been admitted. And it's kind of like a soda machine where you put in your dollar and then it doesn't give you a drink, but you're really thirsty, so you keep sticking dollars in. By the third or fourth try, not getting the bottled water, the Gatorade, the Coca-Cola out, have you figured out that it's broken or it's a scam? No. If you have the sexiest man alive or the NFL promoting Obamacare and you've got a bunch of bombshell beauties promoting it, then it must be okay. So it doesn't matter. It's all a fraud by design to bankrupt the country. Just have Hollywood promote it, and they admit they're targeting young people. They think you're dumb. You haven't been figured out it's a screw job yet. This is so predatory. They even admit they're targeting you in a criminal operation, and they think you're so broke back that they can get away with anything. People ask, what's the limit? The sky. The sky is the limit, because these trendies will never admit Obama conned them. Ever. Their identity is in it. And so it isn't even Obama who's running things, but his idea, his front, his figurehead is the universal projection of the deception. Oh, HHS awards another $58 million for Obamacare navigators to known criminal groups, the Weekly Standard reports. Isn't that nice to go out and literally get all your personal data, basically threatening you at your door? So that's just some of the news on that front. And taxpayers shell out $14,000 per Obamacare enrollee for the cost of each enrollee that's actually been able to sign up for it. Obamacare raised the cost of your kids' braces, and when we come back, it gets better. Obamacare advertises on ESPN with taxpayer money, but ESPN drops Christmas ad for referring to God and Jesus. And the lady that brought out the fake birth certificate, she's dead. Plane crash. The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other members of the fluorine family that are added to Western water supplies are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the people that drink it. So the question is, why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We developed Fluoride Shield to be the highest quality, highest standards, because I use it every day and my family uses it every single day. Let's take a closer look at the ingredients that make up this special proprietary formula. Tamarind has been celebrated for its ability to immobilize toxic fluoride residues, while zeolites have a long history of attracting and holding toxic compounds. Enter fulvic acid, an excellent cleansing agent. Then we added the highest quality shilajit, a rare compound that is collected from the high mountains of the Himalayas. We topped it all off with the powerhouse herb cilantro that is intended to mobilize fluoride and other dangerous compounds for removal from the body. And the final touch to energize this formula is our proprietary nascent iodine. And as always, consult your physician as well, because that is important. And finally, Fluoride Shield, Survival Shield, and all the products at InfoWarsLife.com grew out of my quest to try to find the very best compounds from God's cornucopia to protect myself and my family. And from our research, I believe we are bringing you the best, highest quality products. And you have that commitment from Alex Jones and the entire InfoWars crew. For those of us that by the grace of God are not in a trance, doesn't mean we're not influenceable, doesn't mean we don't make mistakes, doesn't mean we're perfect. But for those of us that are actually conscious and awake, it's comical, it's painful, it's disgusting, it's nauseating, it's infuriating, it's mind-boggling to watch people conned by the hype-driven system. And look, I don't blame people. I remember when I was a child, my dad taking me to movies like The Running Man and stuff when I was like 12 years old, and thinking Arnold Schwarzenegger was just the most manly, awesome, cool guy in the world. And that is a good movie. Great Stephen King screenplay and book, short story. Now that I know who Arnold Schwarzenegger really is as an adult, he's a horrible, abusive monster. And it's the same thing. But now, because I've actually had a chance to get to know a lot of celebrities, I know most of them are vapid, empty, unhappy people, themselves obsessed with other celebrities, just like a child. But then many of them actually know it's all a big fraud and a prison, and they want to change their name and get out of it, or fake their death. And the reason I talk about this so much is that it is celebrity, the celebrity of Obama, the celebrity of Obamacare and who's pushing it, the celebrity of Oprah Winfrey, to sell a lie. When Oprah Winfrey probably has about 170 IQ, she's a genius of manipulation and deception. She's part of eugenics secret meetings that have leaked, confirmed. She's part of running bizarre cult takeovers of Africa and churches that she uses as fronts. I mean, she's one of the only people they let into meetings where there's only 10 top globalists. They let Oprah Winfrey in. Just to give you an idea. And this is a woman selling racialist, race-pimping division and trying to sell her people out and trying to depopulate Africa. I mean, that's why she's been brought up to that level. She's very intelligent, but she's very evil. And she sits there and fake cries, just like Obama and everybody else, to her audience of people she's abusing. And that makes me not even hate her. It makes me realize this is El Diablo. You get really smart, talented people who choose to be parasites so she can be worth, you know, $10 billion or whatever it is. It's disgusting. It's truly sick how she sits there and beams that she's a real person and really cares about people. But when you actually study her, she's a cold-blooded operator. Just like Obama. These people, you turn your back on them, they will stick it in. They will stick a knife right between your political, cultural, and spiritual ribs, right into your heart. And it's just, once you know this, the trance is broken, the haze is broken, and you realize, my gosh, these people are literally abusing me. I think everybody should go see the film, The Face in the Crowd. I want to get that clip at the end. Or maybe do a movie review for the Nightly News, showing the progression of the film, reviewing it, and then showing the end scene. where the Oprah Winfrey type character, but he's a white guy, played by Andy Griffith, and he doesn't know he's live on air still, talking about what idiots his viewers are. And I remember seeing that as a kid on television one night when my dad was out of town, me and my mom watched it. I'll never forget, I was probably about 8 years old. And I thought, nobody'd actually really be like that. And now I realize with these globalist folks, that's the norm, not the exception. They don't get off on building good products, writing good books, having good culture, teaching people things, building people up. I mean, I enjoy teaching people things. I enjoy helping other talk show hosts that aren't as successful as I am, who are good people. I enjoy trying to lift up other news organizations. I enjoy seeing people do well. I think it's neat when somebody is worth billions of dollars on their own initiative and they bring something to humanity. I admire the Swiss. You could have $1 billion and they don't just want $1 billion brought to Switzerland. If you've got a patent on something for construction or something for electronics, and you'll just come to Switzerland that because you've invented something and you've done something, you don't have to even bring money, then they'll have you into the country. I mean, that's the type of culture. I was thinking about that last night. That's the type of culture I want to live in, not where you come here and we give you free welfare so you'll vote to enslave those of us that produce. And that's really what this comes down to. I mean, what do you bring to the table? What do you contribute to society to make it a richer society? I like to see culture rise. I just admire beauty. I don't get mad at some guy when he's got a girlfriend who looks like Marilyn Monroe. I admire them and just think, man, they must really love each other. But most guys I know get violently angry. So I guess I'm just a weirdo. Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com. Health director who approved Obama's birth certificate dies in a plane crash. And this is out of U.S. News and World Report. It's also in NBC News reporting on it. The health director who approved the release of President Obama's birth certificate has died in a plane crash, Hawaiian officials said last night, or I guess this morning, actually, because it's Thursday right now, the 12th day of December 2013. Loretta Fuddy, I guess you pronounce it, died after the Cessna Grand Caravan aircraft she was traveling on went down shortly after leaving the airport around 3:15 p.m. on Wednesday. So this news just came out. The other 8 people on board were rescued. So who knows if it was foul play, but there was no indication as why the plane had crashed. But I had said at the time, you can pull these videos up right when they released the birth certificate a few years ago, it was clearly fake. I'm not saying she put out a fake, but someone may have made a fake inside the records and given it to her to release. That whoever was involved in this or whoever might blow the whistle inside later would be having a plane crash or getting mugged and falling down and hitting their head. So it's very, very suspicious. But, of course, there won't be any investigation of that. Also, speaking of government-run health care, NHS never events revealed. That's never events that they want to happen. That's the National Health Service in England. Surgeons carried out heart surgery on wrong patient, wrong toe removed, and wrong foot operated on. And it just goes over 148 never events, medical mistakes that, according to the guidelines, should never happen at NHS Trust between April and September this year. And it just goes into the nightmare scenarios that we're going to be living under here more and more. And again, I'm not saying that our current healthcare system is good. What I'm saying is that it's government and corporate takeover of the healthcare system that's made it so expensive and so fraudulent. That's what the history shows. And now they're going to wreck it even worse to bring in total single payer that micromanages every facet of our lives with social control, because we're now all communally tied to socialist healthcare, but with the profits offshored in a fascist pipeline. So the very worst system that they could come up with, purely criminal, exploitive, private corporate tax with social engineering by private corporate eugenicists. You could not come up with something nastier than this. Now, Obamacare is now advertising, I guess, with taxpayer money on ESPN. And the big insurance companies are all lobbying to keep Obamacare in place as it is right now because they wrote it. But I love how when I criticize Obamacare, I see comments and emails saying, you must work for, you know, the insurance companies. It's like, what? No connection to the insurance companies, except I have insurance, overpriced, I never use. That just went up, by the way, a bunch. I haven't even done a story on that yet. My insurance out of Minnesota, because I got it through Genesis, has only gone up really 50% or so, though I guess I'm on the low end. So thank you, Obamacare. I won't get kicked off, and I won't have my premiums raised, and no one else will. And it'll lower the price of a phone or cable bill. But here it is. Obamacare advertises on ESPN. Last night, the 30-second advertisement ran to encourage folks to sign up at Health Insurance Marketplace, otherwise known as Obamacare. Now, for the first time, you can be covered with a quality health plan from a new health insurance marketplace. Part of the healthcare law, says the male announcer. Absolute total fraud. And it ran on ESPN. Perfect audience of sports morons. Men who don't want to spend time with their family. Men who don't want to spend time learning how the world really works. They want to go home at 6, 7 o'clock at night and watch 5 hours of sports. And men all acting manly, sitting around desk talking about this quarterback or this running back or this golf player. Maybe one thing if you watch golf on Saturday or Sunday. Maybe one thing if you went to a football game, you know, once a month, or went to your kids' little league, or I'm all for athletics if you're in it. I love it. But I mean, it's just such a sick sign of the Roman decline that we've become. So let's play the ad that's allowed to air. Then we've got a clip of Fox News reporting on the very same ESPN drops Christmas ad because Christmas is offensive. The word Christmas is not allowed, but we will run an ad by a criminal government run by foreign banks and insurance companies to have people go sign up so they can be sent tax bills for not having Obamacare because they're not allowed to sign up for Obamacare. I mean, that is beyond a bizarro world, futuristic novel by Heinlein or somebody like that. I mean, this is just, if you wrote satire like this 30 years ago, no one would believe it. They would say it's too fantastical, absurdist, surrealist. And now I feel like I'm living inside a cuckoo bird clock or something with the general public, because I hear people that, you know, at the store or wherever or at the bank talking, and they're like, I like Obama, or I think the health care is going to be fine. They're going to fix it. And I see the comments online and everything. And sure, it's maybe 30% of the public that's still literally living in a false reality, but it's still just insane, because it doesn't matter if Congress has a 6% approval rating. The system's just set the precedent that this is what they're going to do. So I'm trying to figure out, how do they top this? Well, they're going to take the public and private pension funds to protect them, just like the models they've done in other countries hundreds of times in different counties, cities, and regions around the world, thousands of times. It's how they've done it in California and other areas, how they're doing it in Michigan, and it will come everywhere when they're done, because it's designed to bankrupt us. No matter what we do, they've signed us on to systems that are unsustainable. They'll first have a deal and take 20% of the pension funds, public and private, here or there, to protect them. And then 2 years later, oh, it's insolvent again. We got to take another 30. And they're like, oh, a couple years later, you know what? We're going to take 80% of what's left. That's what's happening in Detroit right now. Or you're going to get nothing. And the average sheeple that are totally cowardly, totally scared, and most of them government workers that have been parasiting off people and running everybody out of the area anyways in California or Michigan, they're going to say, okay, I'll take my 20%. And then down the road, they're going to take half of that or 80% until you end up with nothing. And listen, you're not going to get Social Security within the next 5-10 years. It's the same thing worldwide. They're going to take your Social Security one bite at a time. They're going to take the stock market when the dollar devalues. It's all pumped up. And I'm not saying this to scare you, folks. It's only going to get worse the longer you beg to be hurt by the New World Order. The longer you're gullible. The longer you go, well, my favorite music star says in ads, I should sign up for Obamacare. So it's so trendy, I feel like I'm buying into it and I'm his friend or I'm her friend. You know, if Kanye West, Biebler or whatever, Joseph Biebler, what's that idiot kid's name? Justin Biebler, Jobler, whatever his name is. If they say it, you do it. Excuse me. Let's go ahead, because I want to go to your phone calls and get to Obamacare advertises on ESPN. But Christians, you see the door? You're offensive, Christians. Your nativity scene. Anti-Christian group forces Air Force remove nativity scene. What you're doing is offensive. You're offensive to us. Your existence is bigoted. The name father and mother in government documents all over the country is being removed because it's offensive to be a father or a mother. It's offensive if you're a man and you like women. It's offensive if you're a woman and you like men. It's offensive if you like health and justice and family. It's offensive. Being alive is offensive to the New World Order. So let's go ahead and go to the not offensive con artist ad, literally to suck people in to be mugged by the Obamacare fraud machine and his army of criminal navigators that we predicted with Kit Daniels 4 months ago, 2 months before this latest pile of you-know-what dropped into the thunder mug. That's what my great-grandfather called a toilet, a thunder mug. I tell you, the American people Obama sees the American people as a giant thunder mug. And I'm telling you, if they had a trendy tell people that it was chocolate raining on us, they'd run out. You could tell a trendy and have Obama say, that stuff you see out in the grass at the park, that's chocolate. And I'm telling you, the average Obama supporter, I'm not even joking, would get down on the ground and start eating it. I'm telling you, folks, if they had Kanye West get out there and say, get on the ground and eat dog crap, people would do it. And I'm not joking. The Aztecs said it was trendy to take your child up and have their heart cut out, and they did it. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that darling that they do that for us? By the way, you hear that you're going to get lower prices through Obamacare. On average, they've doubled, set to quadruple the next 2 years. Humana plans in Texas, Mike Adams of naturalnews.com got that document. A 500 and something % increase. We can show the document. My dad's is doubled in like 3 installments. That's how they do it to most people. It goes up 25, 50%, 30%. It's just the way they take your pension fund. Let me tell you, they never start having tanks drive around and guys in black uniforms and training to take on gun owners to fight Al-Qaeda, folks. That when the government starts doing that, it's like when criminals come into a bank and say, hands up. When the state starts arming against you and training against you, they're saying, they're walking into a bank, hands up, folks. All right, move in the operation. But before they did that, they culturally hit you with a culture bomb to dumb you down. Chemicals, biologicals, there it is. Rate shock. Obamacare causing 539% increase in health insurance costs for Texans. If you scroll down, right there in the article, he's actually got a copy of the document there in the story. So there you go. And it actually says you have the right to contact the Texas Department of Insurance regarding this notice. And then in there it says your increase, percentage of change in 1 month, 539.60. I'm sorry. Here, now, that's not offensive. This is what's offensive. ESPN drops Christmas ad for reference to God and Jesus. There's not a dirtier word. The FCC ought to add that to the 7 deadly words you're not allowed to say. Actually, they say you're allowed to say that now on broadcast TV. It's only selectively enforced against broadcast radio. In his continuing effort to expose the secular left's war on Christmas, Fox News' Bill O'Reilly reported, what a good guy over there, I'm being sarcastic, on rather disheartening story about, I mean, O'Reilly does some good work, but he also goes, there's more and more sex abuse online, and then cuts to a picture of me ranting about Obama, but doesn't say it's Obama, and then says, stop the hate on screen. It's like, but anyways, O'Reilly got this right. Each Christmas, thousands in our community send messages of hope to sick and injured children who may not be able to come home for the holidays, said SSM's Cardinal Glennon Children's Medical Center. We celebrate the birth of Jesus. That's what Christmas is, and the season of giving, bringing hope to many children, parents, and families we serve. Our patients are filled with hope as they receive a message each day from the treasure chest beneath our tree of hope. God forbid at a Catholic hospital they run an ad for helping sick kids. You're not allowed to have the Catholics run ads. The Catholics are supposed to teach abortion at their churches, according to Obamacare. Help us reveal God's healing presence this Christmas. Send your message of hope. And what they don't want is the medicine of love and God and remembering it's not about materialism. It's about helping sick children. I told my wife it's Christmas time. I said, what are we doing for charity? We're going to give money to the Salvation Army. We're going to give money to some good children's hospitals. We're going to give money to some other things where 90+% of it goes to what, there's only a few charities you can really even trust out there. And God forbid, no. We've got to have Bill Clinton run ads for Haitian kids where he keeps more than half of it for his private jet aircraft. Again, that's the kind of charity we can run. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Only in an authoritarian country, old Soviet Union, would you see something like this. And remember what came out a few months ago? We broke it. People didn't believe it. And then the documents got released by folks at Fort Hood. And Fox News finally did pick it up. That they actually taught them that if you're part of the Tea Party or give money to an evangelical group or a part of it, we're going to court-martial you. Because these are terrorist groups, and under federal law, aiding a terrorist group is punishable by prison. Yeah, if you send money to the Somali pirates, that's punishable by prison, and it should be. If you give money to Al-Qaeda, that's punishable by prison, and it should be. But our government's giving money, billions, and arms to Al-Qaeda in Libya, Syria, all over the place. Egypt, that's okay. But then if soldiers want to be part of the Tea Party, mainline Americana, not perfect, but Bill of Rights, Constitution, family, Second Amendment, national sovereignty, low taxes, sounds like John F. Kennedy type stuff. If you support that, then we're going to court-martial you. It actually says court-martial you until we exposed it and others exposed it and they backed off. But it shows they're just going to keep pushing and keep pushing. And keep pushing, and keep pushing, and keep pushing, and keep... I mean, this is incredible. This is the authoritarianism of these people. All right, Troy, Ryan, Tom, V, Austin, all of you, your calls are coming up. Ton of calls coming up into the next hour. I got a lot of other news we haven't gotten to yet, but it's just going to have to wait because I want to take your phone calls.
Now you can watch Alex Jones live at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
You can also browse the network, the Infowars Nightly News,
and over 60 movies and documentaries all together in one place.
You can watch the Alex Jones radio show live as it happened.
So check it out, Infowars.com/show.